The Bill Belichick era at North Carolina is over. Whether he's still in the office today or tomorrow or the next day, it is over. Both sides are now working their angles to have an out to get rid of Bill Belichick as the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. It is happening sooner rather than later. Things are going from bad to worse for our pal Chapel Bill. And it looks like he might not even be the coach when they fly across the country next week to play Cal. Just another day in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And when faced with that, Bill Belichick has basically said, you can't fire me if I quit. The new reports coming out, Ollie Connolly, friend of Cam Stuart, friend of the show, put out on Twitter yesterday this thread about Bill Belichick trying to get out of his deal with UNC. It reads, per sources, Belichick has discussed a buyout option with North Carolina's hierarchy. Belichick has signaled a willingness to trigger his own $1 million buyout if he can find a soft landing spot with another team or media. Now, this thread goes through a couple of different things. It's talking about recruiting violations that's going on at UNC, how the coaching staff has already started to revolt from Belichick. The direct quote is, the rats are leaving the ship, and how these coaches are feeling they're doing a disservice to the student athletes. It is ugly. It is a mess with Bill Belichick right now. And of course, he is trying to find a way out. But here's the thing. The soft landing spot with another team or in media, who's going to hire him? Who is going to hire Bill Belichick as a coach? Nobody's going to hire him right now. And if you're the media, what media entity wants to hire him? Because you're not hiring Bill Belichick. You're hiring Jordan. You're hiring Jordan Hudson to come with him. And clearly, that is one of the biggest headaches in all of sports right now. You've got this 24-year-old girl, not woman yet, 24, this kid telling you what you can and can't say to Bill Belichick, this 75-year-old man. It's so bizarre, and it just gets more and more bizarre by the day. Like we thought at some point this might work itself out, but now it's like this is going to end poorly. And I actually said it for a while that this was going to end poorly for everyone involved. And here it comes again. Who's going to hire him? No NFL team's going to hire him. Certainly no college team's going to hire him after this. He's just going to do the same thing. He's going to bring in his cronies. He's going to bring in Mike Lombardi and his kids, and would have brought Matt Patricia if he didn't get a better job. Like, who could have saw that coming? And in terms of the media, who wants that headache? Rogue media going to hire Bill Belichick? Maybe that's the next thing. Bill Belichick, co-host of the Cam Show. I'll bring him on. I'll be willing to deal with that for a couple of weeks. This is really, really bad. Now, Belichick and North Carolina both put out statements last night just to give you the old, we're committed to Coach Belichick, and Coach Belichick wants to stay and build something here, all that crap that you hear all the time. What you didn't hear in those statements was a denial of the reports. No one at UNC is denying the reports. Nobody's saying Bill has not come up to us. Bubba Cunningham is not tweeting out. Bill Belichick has not come up to us and said that he wants to get out of his contract and wants to trigger the buyout. Nobody said that. No one's done that yet. And let's just play the game out. Even if this report is not true, and let's just say Bill does want to stay, UNC may have just laid the groundwork to fire Bill with no buyout necessary. Because in the midst of this, they have planted the seeds. Obviously, they'd love if Bill says, I'm out. I'll pay you $1 million so that I can leave. But if he doesn't do that, they still have a way out of this. Because according to The Athletic, assistant coach Armand Hawkins has been suspended by UNC for the classic impermissible benefits. In this case, he gave sideline passes to a player's family members, which is against NCAA rules. It's stupid, but it's against NCAA rules. And so now, if you follow along with college sports, you know this. This is a classic way for college sports programs to fire a coach with cause. meaning no buyout at all. They look at it and say, well, this guy's recruiting, he's committing violations. He's dragging our school's name through the mud. He's putting our athletic program's name through the mud. We can fire him for breach of contract, not adhering to North Carolina standards. It's so easy. We see it all the time. UConn tried it with Kevin Ollie. Kevin Ollie actually won that one, but we see that a lot in college sports these days. Because look at it, man. We're talking about sideline passes. Who even cares? Who even cares about that? Most of the time, they probably wouldn't. But Bubba Cunningham does right now because it means he can fire Bill even if there's no soft landing spot. And by the way, there's no soft landing spot. There's no soft landing spot. He's got no friends in the league anymore. It's not like Mike Shanahan's going to give him a job. He's long done. Kyle Shanahan might. That was some rumors last year. You think Bill Belichick's going to be a coordinator, though? You think he's just going to be some consultant? He hasn't changed his ways in 40 years. That's what's gotten him into this mess. And I'm not one of those people who apparently there are a bunch around New England, and most of them just have a microphone in front of their face, where they're rooting against Bill Belichick. They want this to become a mess at UNC. I'm not that. I have different reasons that I don't root for North Carolina, but I don't want to see Belichick's legacy get tarnished, which, by the way, his legacy is not tarnished. His reputation right now is not great, and he's unhireable, but his legacy of winning 6 Super Bowls as a head coach and 2 as a defensive coordinator and being the greatest coach of all time is not tarnished. And again, I see Boston sports media people just taking this victory lap. Albert Breer tweeted it out today of like, I used to think Bill Belichick was the GOAT, but here's his numbers without Brady, and here's Andy Reid's numbers without Patrick Mahomes. Like, yeah, we know Andy Reid's a pretty dang good coach. He was probably a Hall of Fame coach even before he started winning Super Bowls with Mahomes. But again, like, we never do this with other athletes or other coaches. You know, we never look at John Wooden's record without Bill Walton or Kareem. You know, we never look at what Bill Walsh did without Joe Montana. We never look at Chuck Noll without Terry Bradshaw. We never do that. We don't look at Jordan without Pippen. We don't look at Gretzky without Messier. We don't look at Babe Ruth without having Lou Gehrig hitting behind him. It's stupid. It's stupid. No one questions what Babe Ruth did just because he had Lou Gehrig for most of his career. But at the end of his career, he was fat and sloppy and couldn't even run the bases, and he was playing for the Boston Braves. This right now in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, is Bill Belichick playing for the Boston Braves. That's it right there. This has been a complete and utter disaster on the field, in the coaches' meetings, in the media. Absolutely no one is benefiting from this hire besides some blowhards on Boston Sports Talk Radio and the 12 teams on North Carolina's schedule this year. Those are the only ones that are benefiting from this just antique roadshow going through North Carolina right now. This is already a no-win situation. And if he stayed there 3 or 4 years, which again is not happening, would the product on the field get better? Yeah, it would. Like this is you see it anytime in the NIL era now. It is tough to take over a program when all the kids leave and you got to recruit a whole new team. It's not easy. Almost nobody wins in their first season in this new era. But this has just been a nightmare from day one. And it's been Bill's ego. And he's not doing the coach's show. He's not shaking the hands. He's not kissing the babies for the donors. You can't do that in college football these days. You just can't. And I want to go back to the Ollie Connolly thread for a second, because the last one in there, you know, he starts talking about what Belichick's communication is with the staff. Weird and distant, as described by multiple members of UNC's coaching staff. Who could have seen that coming? Multiple coaches were unable to get a hold of him during UNC's bye week. What? That's crazy. You mean he's alienating staff? Next, you're going to tell me he's alienating players. No way. Not the Bill Belichick I know, right? But this last tweet in the thread from Ollie Connolly is what is really damning. From one UNC defensive assistant, quote, "What we've done to these kids is fucked up," end quote. And it is. The pettiness, the not having a team scouts go and scout your players when you're supposed to be the 33rd NFL organization. Every other college football program gets scouted by 32 teams. You're actually limiting them more than any other team in college football. You're lying to those kids. You're lying to those parents, which does fit right into college football. But when you don't win and you've got a circus going wherever you go as a part of it, and your coaches can't even get in contact with you, they probably got to go through Jordan, to be quite fair. They probably got to go through her to reach Bill. That's a problem, man. This is a mess, and it's not going to get any better. The head coach in the final game of this North Carolina season will not be Bill Belichick. I don't know who it is, but it won't be Bill Belichick. And it's basically already over. Either side has an easy way to get out of this thing that's not going to cost anybody more than $1 million, which is nothing to these people. So is this a disaster for Bill Belichick? Does it hurt his legacy? For me, it doesn't. But let me know in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we come at you every weekday live at high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. The Cam Show, your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio.